My Weirder-est School, Book number 7. Miss Jojo is a Yo-Yo. Written by Dan Gutman. Pictures by Jim Pelot. Chapter 3. Getting Synergized. There were 4 days until the FART, and everybody was stressed about it. That's when Mr. Klutz came to visit our class again. He was with our school counselor, Dr. Brad, who has crazy hair and looks like a mad scientist in a horror movie. Dr. Carbles wants to make you nervous so you fail the FART, said Mr. Klutz. So I thought Dr. Brad might be able to help. The whole school is feeling so much stress, said Dr. Brad, who talks funny. We all need to calm down about this test. Dr. Brad thinks he can help us relax, said Mr. Klutz. Yes, I want to try something, said Dr. Brad. Sit down, Mr. Klutz. Mr. Klutz sat in a chair. Dr. Brad took a shiny metal watch out of his pocket. It was attached to a chain. He dangled the watch in front of Mr. Klutz's face and began slowly swinging it back and forth. Look at this very closely, Dr. Brad said softly. It will help you to be calm. Are you hypnotizing me? Mr. Klutz asked as he stared at the watch. Yes, said Dr. Brad. See the shiny watch? Stare at it as it swings back and forth. The eyelids feel a little heavy, yes? Heavy, Mr. Klutz mumbled. I know all about hypnosis. People will do anything when they're hypnotized. One time I hypnotized Andrea. She climbed up to the roof of the school and screamed at the police when they tried to get her to come down. That was the greatest day of my life. Stare at the watch as it swings, said Dr. Brad. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, repeated Mr. Klutz like a robot. Feeling sleepy? Asked Dr. Brad. Sleepy, moaned Mr. Klutz. Soon you will be in deep sleep, said Dr. Brad. You will be relaxed. You will be calm. You will stop stressing about the test. Relaxed, calm, moaned Mr. Klutz. It's working, shouted Ryan. He hypnotized Mr. Klutz. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. Mr. Klutz suddenly stood up, flapped his arms, and started to cluck like a chicken. Balk, 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 said Mr. Klutz. What are you doing? Asked Dr. Brad. I'm a chicken, shouted Mr. Klutz, running around the class and flapping his arms. Balk, balk, balk. Where can I lay my eggs? Mr. Klutz is nuts, Michael shouted. Mr. Klutz ran a few laps around the classroom, looking for a place to lay his eggs. Then, just as suddenly, he stopped acting like a chicken. He looked like himself again. I wasn't in a trance, he told us. I wasn't hypnotized for a second. I was just kidding. It only works on some people, said Dr. Brad. Exactly, said Mr. Klutz. Even if it had worked, it would be impossible to hypnotize the whole school. But I have another idea that might help lower everybody's stress level. He went out in the hall for a minute. When he came back, a lady was with him. She had long black hair, and she wasn't wearing shoes. This is Miss Jojo, Mr. Klutz announced. She's a wellness expert. She digs wells? I asked. No, dumbhead, said Andrea. She makes people feel well. I knew that, I lied. I was going to say something mean to Andrea, but I couldn't come up with anything good. Namaste, said Miss Jojo. She bowed to us with her hands pressed together. Huh? We all said, which is also huh backward. Namaste, said Miss Joe slowly. That means the light in me bows to the light in you. Why don't you have shoes on? Asked Michael. Shoes are jail cells for the feet, Miss Jojo replied. That's weird. Miss Jojo had a machine with her. It looked sort of like a big toaster. She plugged it into the wall socket. What does that thing do? Asked Ryan. This is a mood meter, she replied. It reads the stress level of people in a room. Miss Jojo turned on the mood meter, and a few seconds later it beeped. Ooh, she said. The stress level in this room is over 100. That's very high. You kids must be really stressed out. Yes, said Mr. Klutz. Everyone is on edge because they have to take the fundamental arithmetic reading test in a few days. If our school doesn't do well, added Mr. Cooper, the president of the Board of Education is going to shut it down. Can you help us? I'll try, said Miss Jojo. I've never worked with children before, but I'll do my best. Let's do a little exercise. Everybody close your shoes and take off your eyes. Huh? We all asked. I mean, take off your shoes and close your eyes, said Miss Jojo. Oh, that's different. We took off our shoes and closed our eyes. Now take a deep breath, said Miss Jojo. We all took deep breaths, even the grown-ups. Hold it and let it out, she said softly. In and out, in and out. I already know how to breathe, I said. If I didn't know how to breathe, I'd be dead. Nobody laughed at my joke. They were all breathing in and out. Now picture a beam of energy, said Miss Jojo. Ride it out of your body, up into the air, and toward the stars. I pretended that I was riding a beam of energy out of my body and into outer space. It was cool. Very good, said Miss Jojo. Now repeat after me, we all repeated. No, said Miss Jojo. I mean repeat after me. After me, after me, after me, we all repeated. After me, after me, after me, after me, after me. We repeated after me for like 1,100,000 minutes. Finally, Miss Jojo said we could stop repeating after me and open our eyes. How do you feel? Asked Miss Jojo. I feel more relaxed already, said Mr. Klutz. Me too, said Ryan. Me 3, said Neil. Me 4, said Alexia. In case you were wondering, everybody said they felt more relaxed. Miss Jojo went over to look at the mood meter. Look, she said. Your stress level is down to 94. That's still very high, but it's a big improvement. If we can get your stress level down to 50, you will be really relaxed. Fantastic! Exclaimed Mr. Klutz. What do you call that breathing exercise? Miss Jojo replied, I call it Synergizing. Chapter 4 Toga Party. Miss Jojo's Synergizing was so successful that Mr. Klutz hired her to come back and help us every day leading up to the big FART. It was in 3 days. Namaste, Miss Jojo said as she came into the class and bowed to us. Namaste, we all replied. What are we going to do today, Miss Jojo? Asked Neil. Are we going to get Synergized again? Asked Alexia. No, today we're going to do yoga, replied Miss Jojo. I never did yoga before, so I decided that it's dumb. Anything you never did before is dumb. That's the first rule of being a kid. Ooh, I love yoga, shouted Andrea, who loves everything grown-ups love. I signed up to take a yoga class after school. Andrea takes classes in everything after school. If they gave classes in blowing your nose, she would take that class so she could get better at it. I love yoga too, shouted Emily, who loves everything Andrea loves. My mom takes a class in goat yoga, said Ryan. They do yoga exercises while goats climb all over them. Everybody laughed because we were picturing people doing yoga while goats were climbing all over them. That's ridiculous, said Miss Jojo. I would never do anything that silly. So what kind of yoga are we going to do? Andrea asked. Turtle yoga, replied Miss Jojo. I call it Toga. She went out in the hall and came back wheeling a bunch of yoga mats and a big aquarium filled with turtles. Where do you think Miss Jojo got all those turtles? Ryan whispered to me. From Rent a Turtle, I whispered back. You can rent anything. These are my emotional support turtles, said Miss Jojo. They help me relax. They're adorable, said Emily, who thinks all animals are adorable. Lie down on these shoes and take off your yoga mats, said Miss Jojo. Take off your shoes and lie down on these yoga mats. Miss Jojo got on the floor and showed us something called the cow pose. It's a pose that makes you look like a cow, so it has the perfect name. While we all did the cow pose, she put a turtle on each of our backs. It was weird feeling, but cool too. Turn off your eyes and close your brain, said Miss Jojo. Turn off your brain and close your eyes. Are you feeling your inner turtle? I am, said Andrea. Turtles are ticklish, said Alexia. My turtle is walking on my back, said Michael. Turtle yoga is fun, said Ryan. Imagine that you're playing fetch with your turtle, said Miss Jojo. It's really hard to play fetch with a turtle. You throw a stick or something and the turtle doesn't come back with it for like an hour. Doing yoga with turtles was ridiculous, but fun. Miss Jojo taught us a bunch of poses. Downward facing dog, lion pose, cobra pose, chi pose. In the middle of it, Mr. Klutz came in. I just wanted to see how the kids were making out, he said. Ugh, gross. We're having a toga party, Ryan told him. Toga, 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 I chanted. I thought that everybody was going to chant with me, but nobody did. Everybody was just looking at me. I hate when that happens. Suddenly, for no reason, Emily started freaking out. What's the matter, Emily? Asked Andrea. I think my turtle just peed on me, Emily shouted. It was hilarious. Everybody was laughing, even Emily. We were all relaxed and having fun. Miss Jojo went over to check the mood meter. The turtle yoga must be working, she said. See, your stress level has dropped down to 76. Great job, Miss Jojo, said Mr. Klutz. Namaste, she replied.